Okay, first of all, I wanted to thank everyone for joining us today. I mean, granted, from the other community that I was working in last year, seeing 33 participants is actually amazing for me at a public hearing. So um, one of the things I wanted to basically reiterate is that we are going to have a different style of the public hearing than what we were used to, than what you guys might have been used to prior. So all the organizations that haven't gotten funded recently, we are asking them to do a presentation about 3 to 5 minutes. We're going to have a public if there's anyone that wanted to speak right afterwards. If we were actually doing it at the Mercia Center, we would have like a break. But since I'm assuming everybody's basically at home or at work, um, you guys can take a break whenever you guys need. And we will also be doing like a question and answer period for some of the grantees that were basically have gotten funded prior. If you've applied for um, more than one application for the non-public services, just wanted to reiterate that those are basically being looked at um, with the committee, and we will be sending out questions to you guys if there's any. So all the applications are being considered, whether or not you're doing a presentation now. We did have about 45 applications for the CDBG grant, so which is one of the reasons why we're also doing somewhat of a hybrid version. Not everyone's applying because I don't think anyone really wants to be on a call for till midnight, consider it after yesterday's storm. So I am going to start off with a presentation, probably just to give you some details or information, the process. Just um, if you have any questions, you could use the chat button, or I'm not really that good on Zoom, but I know there's a raised hand function. So if anyone knows how to do that, you can do that as well. We do have 3 other staff members that are on the call today. So the other thing is if anyone wants to put any information on about your organization in the chat, you can feel free to do that if you think that you want anyone else to know what you do. So I am going to go and try to share my screen. Give me 1 second. So this is the FY24-25 public hearing for the CDBG funds. This is again, mostly just for the public slash social service applications. For the application, I mean, we do have all the other applications are in the office. They are all available upon request. If you wanted to take a look, I mean, everything is public. So if you wanted to take a look at some of the other applications, you would just shoot us an email. So basically, want to just go over the agenda real quick. The presentation for the overall application process, basically proposals for new applicants that should be rather than applications. If anyone has any want to provide any feedback or input, they could do so at that time. And we will have a Q&A session for existing grantees. or agencies that did get funding within the past 2 years. And then final comments, depending on how long this will take, I'm hoping to be out by 9 o'clock. Just to give you guys a heads up. So basically, the timeline for the CDBG funds. So we released the RFP in October. The applications were due November. I forget the date. I know it was the week before Thanksgiving. We are doing the presentation of proposals today, January 9th. The review committee will submit the final recommendations to the city manager sometime around January 24th. We are expecting that the city council will vote on the recommendations by the city manager probably late February, early March. Not really sure. And then for HUD, we do have to have a 30-day public comment period, which will be from about April 15th. Didn't necessarily realize that that was Patriots Day. So it's going to be more like April 16th to May 16th. And then the final recommendation will be due to the federal government at May 30th. At that time, we will more than likely be submitting just the grant awards at that time. So until the city council votes on it, I mean, we can only give a tentative, but we won't know the final awards until then. And then basically, I mean, just to give you a background of CDBG, it's basically we have to have this meeting to get community input. Federal HUD basically requires that we must have a minimum of 2 public hearings for the applications. One during the award allocation process, and then essentially one for the end of the year report. We are supposed to have one public in-person meeting. That would have been today if weather really cooperated with us. But that other meeting will be when we announce the awards in April. And then one of the things about the CDBG funds is we do get an annual allocation by the federal government for CDBG funds. It averages about $2 million a year, which is roughly about $33 per low and moderate income person within the city. Basically, the funds can be used on anti-poverty measures for social services, public buildings, parks, infrastructure, housing, and economic development measures. I know we are not talking about ESG funds, but since just want to give a heads up while everyone's here, in case anyone's interested in the future to apply for these funds that might not. We do get some homeless prevention funds from the federal government. We do average about 175,000 per year, which can be used. It's basically we give the money to organizations that help the homeless families or at risk of homelessness for things such as like first, last, and security, which is similar to the RAF program. Um, um, Homeless shelter operations. Um, so how that basically breaks down for the federal government is that up to 60% of these funds can go towards shelter operations, which could be day shelters and or street outreach. And then 32.5% of the funds goes directly to housing assistance costs, which is again, is like first, last, and security or rental arrearage payments. For that program that we are now, released the RFP on November 17th, 2023. Applications were due December 15th. It has the same schedule. We are around um, January 24th. We will, or somewhere thereafter, we will make recommendations of these awards to the city manager. And then it does the same process where the city council will vote in February and March, and then the 30-day public comment period. And then we have one other funding source that we have, which is the home. Unlike most of other HUD programs, home is just the Home Investment Partnership Program. There's no acronym involved. Basically, this is utilized for the development of affordable housing within the city of Lowell. 15% of the allocation must be reserved or set aside for community housing development organizations, such as CTI or CBA. There is a process by which the state classifies an organization as a CHODO. So if anyone wants more information about that, you guys can contact the office. And we receive about $900,000 in these funds annually. And that is it for the brief presentation of the program. I didn't want to take too much time, so you guys could most of the presentation's not necessarily about me and the department, but mostly presenting the good work that you guys do. Reem, if you can just let us know who's next, who's first up, that would be great.
Sure, Elliot. Good afternoon, everybody. I think the first one, it would be Cody's Closet, or yes. Please present.
Okay, I will. Thank you very much for having me. And can I share my screen? I can.
I'm actually, okay, yes. If you didn't, yep, go ahead.
Well, I figured I was in person, so I could hear just from beginning. So I just wanted to bring the mission to life for you. Katie's Closet was created to solve a really important problem in the community, and that is a barrier to education. Access to clothing and basic necessities is one of the largest barriers to education. Through our 13-year history with the city, we give students in need life-changing access to clothing and basic necessities so that they can thrive in school and in life. So the biggest problem is the rising level of poverty, which is no secret to all of us here. You may or may not be surprised to learn that 1 in 10 children in Lowell are experiencing homelessness, that over 18,000 students are here in the city between all school systems in PK to 12. We have 12,000 low-income students, 1,700 are experiencing homelessness due to the McKinney-Vento statistics, and we average about 174 high school dropouts a year. And of course, if we create a student pool of dependency on social services, then that ends up costing all of us a lot of money over their lifetime. So our solution, 2 programs. We have an in-school closet program where we operate in all 30 schools in Lowell. Those would be the charters and public. We support over 11,000 students. We also have a in-school closet program in the combination building of Lowell Public Schools and CTI. The cost of maintaining this is $25,000 to us, and we spend a minimum of $10,000 a year on just new purchases. The second most integral part of our program that has been unprecedented this year is the SOS Urgent Response. So this program takes care of children transitioning between stable living conditions. They could be homeless, they could be a fire victim, they're new arriving immigrants, they could be transitioning between foster systems. Anything that means they do not have a consistent roof over their head, we receive that call. We work with social service agencies as well as programs in schools in order to get those kids 2 weeks worth of everything they need so that they can get back on track. Wanted to give you a picture of what some of our in-school closet looks like. So here's an example of an elementary here in Lowell, a middle school, and of course Lowell High. Our high schools tend to have more room and can provide career wear and other things that will help them either get jobs or move into colleges. Even though we're a very productive organization, we leverage free space in schools, donations from the community, and over 400 volunteers. I wanted you to see the breadth of categories that we provide our kids in need. And anything in blue, we actually spend money on. So a new distribution center located on the Lowell Dracut line. And we just expanded this to 20,000 square feet to support Lowell and Lawrence specifically. Our biggest producer out of here is Lowell, and want you to see just the breadth of the merchandise, the organization of it, and why we're able to be extremely efficient and helping our kids as quickly as possible. The impact for us is, again, being in 28 Lowell public schools, plus charters, plus privates, the office, supporting over 13,000 students, and that we're available to any and all who need us. And we entered Lowell with our first closet in 2013. So what do we actually, with in-kind plus spending plus, what we really give the city is over $2.6 million value. However, it is really done through the entire community as we band together to make it happen. I wanted you to hear directly from a very recent survey we just had a few months ago. Is this important to the kids in the community? 92% love it. It's important to have access immediately, helps with self-esteem. We were very bold this year in asking our kids, what's up with bullying? Do you see it? Have you been bullied? Why do you think kids are bullied? And 98% said for the way they look. And we all know that probably clothing is the most visible sign of poverty, and children are most sensitive to the way they look. So it becomes really important, and it really underscored the value of what we're giving the community. And here are some of the adjectives that they used. But what do our partners say? 98% would recommend, and 57% bring the kids daily, which is a high need. That we have improved attendance actually 29% and graduation rates by 31%. So what does the total organization do? I just want you to know our experience and why we're prepared to handle the growing need in the community. So we serve 85,000 students in Massachusetts through 125 schools. We send out over 2.5 million pieces of clothing, and the SOS program alone supported 1,000 kids in this community in the last 4 months. So I am really trying to keep to my time. I hope I did well.
Thank you so much. Yes, you did well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So we will go with
actually, wait, Reem. Does anyone have anyone from the committee have any questions for Katie's Closet?
Thank you.
It doesn't look to be any. I guess, Ms. Cocker, one quick question. Are you guys planning on expanding at all to the universities, or is it just going to be K through 12?
We are using our SOS program to support Middlesex and the UMass Lowell students. We don't officially have a closet in either location. We are considering that since we have completed the entire school district of Lowell, and we know we've given access to every child, but we are still supporting them through the SOS program versus the in-school closet. Okay. I appreciate the question.
I have a quick question, Mickey. How would a student or a young person get referred over to services through Katie's Closet or the resources there?
So in our school system, any of the trusted faculty members, so social worker, guidance counselor, nurse, anyone in the school can speak on behalf of the student there. in terms of our vetted agencies, again, the social workers and there's a basically online system that they're hooked up to, and they just send the information right online.
Reem, I think we can go to the next agency.
Sure. It's House of Hope.
Great. Hi, everybody. My name is Deb Chassé. I'm the Executive Director at House of Hope here in Lowell. I'm here with members of my business office, Jennifer Shockey and Justina Viennes, because if there are questions, I may not be the right one to answer them. Mickey, congratulations on the great work of Katie's Closet. It's very impressive. So for most people probably know House of Hope has been around for a long time. We've actually been serving the city of Lowell for 35 years, meaning we're one of the oldest family shelters in the state. Our original building was open at 812 Merrimack Street in 1985. Today, House of Hope has 3 congregate facilities, 3 congregate shelters, and 1 scattered site unit, and we serve 59 homeless families. That's about 180 people a night and a day. This is their home.
Ms. Chassé, do you want me to share the screen with what Ms. Shockey sent me with some of that information?
Elliot, maybe just the first page, because the second page is just my notes, but at least the photos
Sure.
of the building, so if people might recognize them. Thank you so much. So our state and much of the nation is in crisis owing to an influx of migrant families into Massachusetts. And even Massachusetts can no longer guarantee shelter to all homeless children. Today, about half of our 58 families are legal immigrants. They're primarily Haitian immigrants. House of Hope is seeking CDBG support to assist our new Haitian immigrants who have very little or no English speaking skills by offering a very basic English as a second language program. The focus of this language development, we will be supporting life skill development like immigration requirements, pursuing a pathway to citizenship, pursuing work permits, successfully applying for jobs, including the technology requirements, navigating public transportation or car shares, understanding the residential rental market, applying for public assistance, and supporting their children's public education, while learning basic English skills. The program will be offered in 12-week modules, meeting 2 times a week, and will be both language learning and social learning. We expect that bringing together the Haitian families in shelter will also offer opportunities for community building and mutual support, maybe even resulting in families deciding to share households in order to reduce the high costs of housing. The instructor, who we have not yet hired, will be a paraprofessional educator. It's not going to be high-end, intense education. It's going to be building a social milieu as much as teaching English skills. We will attempt to hire a Haitian Creole speaker, and we would celebrate if this person was an immigrant themselves, so that they would better understand the circumstances and challenges of the participants. We currently have a couple of Haitian-speaking employees at House of Hope, and that has made a huge difference. The proposed very basic English as a second language program is intended to assist our new immigrants in navigating their complex new environment and increasing their employability, while preparing them for more formal learning in professionally taught ESL programs. This is a bridge. It's a bridge program. House of Hope wants to add this programming because the need is obvious to us as shelter providers and compelling because basic English language skills is foundational to increased independence. So many of the Haitian families that have entered House of Hope have experienced trauma and continue to experience trauma and feel threatened by authority figures. One consequence of these experiences is a tendency to isolate and not trust. Bringing this group together with a shared goal of learning is a potentially powerful way to create a sense of community and promote mutual aid. The English language is complicated and challenging, even for me, as you saw just a few seconds ago. Imagine how puzzling it is to a non-English speaker who is new to this country and overwhelmed by their own circumstances. We want to bridge this problem by creating a relevant, low threshold, engaging, flexible, and relaxed approach to learning basic English. So we are requesting funds which will pay for our part-time paraprofessional instructor coach and the needed supplies. We are committed to supporting, supervising this person, as well as providing all administrative support. So this award benefits extremely low-income individuals and households and provides a far-reaching public service. We are seeking to create a simple model of instruction and learning for the homeless Haitian adults in our care. We really believe that a very basic English as a second language program will enable this learning and serve as a springboard for future educational and vocational pursuits. And we hope that the committee looks favorably upon this request. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anyone has any question?
Yeah, Ms. Chauncey, quick. I don't know if you can answer this or someone from your team. Do you know what the economic impact is for the residents themselves who take the course, such as what the potential earnings are by learning?
Yeah, that's a great question, Elliot. No, we don't, because we don't have the program operating yet.
Sure.
So.
Okay.
Okay, so the next one, it would be Lowell Youth.
Here we go. Can you hear me? Hello, everyone. My name is Larry Wilson, and I serve as the president of Lowell Youth Leadership Program. With me on the call today is Jim McCusker, who handles all of our finances, along with Lisa Ansares, who is our executive program director. So Lowell Youth Leadership Program was established about 3 years ago with the idea of building better community leaders right here in our backyard in Lowell, Massachusetts. What makes Lowell Youth Leadership Program very different and very exciting than any other program is Lowell Youth Leadership Program was established by myself and my best friend, Sam Nanghor, who are both Lowell residents, who are part of a national program called NYSP, which is National Youth Sports Program. That program was very beneficial and transformative in our life, and it really made us the people that we are today. So with that idea, we wanted to create Lowell Youth Leadership Program to help build better community leaders and actually give back to the city of Lowell. This past summer, we were featured on News Center 5, and to speak to the spirit of the program, instead of me talking about it, I'd like to just share that video with all of you today. Okay. Okay. Can everyone see my screen? I'm not sure if it's sharing correctly.
It's all it says is that you're sharing a screen, but it's black.
No. I'll Let's try that one more time. Okay, entire screen. How about now?
No,
Can you see the screen now? I'm not too sure why it's not sharing.
Mr. Wilson, I think we actually have it from Mr. McClusker, so we could probably pull it up for you if you'd like.
Okay, yeah.
But give me 1 second. Reem, actually, do you have access to it? Could you pull it up?
I could send the link if need be in the chat, and then it'll be very easy to share if you guys want to do it that way also. My apologies to everyone for the confusion.
You know, if you
Wilson, please, can you share with me
Yeah.
the link?
Yeah, I'm gonna send it in the chat. Yep. I just posted the link in the chat.
Reem, I actually have it up, so I'll pull it.
Okay.
We can't hear it though, that's a thing. We see it, but we cannot hear it.
Yeah, we can't hear it. I'm not sure why the audio is not.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how to fix that aspect, but it's there in the link.
Okay, so I'm gonna try this one more time. I'm gonna try to share one more time, just really quickly. There's so much in there that I don't want to miss out on. Hopefully the third time's a charm.
You just need to choose the right window now. Now it's upside down.
If not, maybe we can come back to him after so he can test it out. Like if we go with someone else and then he can test it out.
I have it all queued up. Yeah, let me see if one of my colleagues can share it, if they can share your screen. Lisa, you're on the call. Do you mind trying to share the video?
That's fine, Wilson. We can come back to you. Let's go with the alternative, and then we're gonna come back to you.
Hi, everybody.
Okay.
I'm just gonna share my screen here. Okay, hopefully everyone can see this. Great. Thanks for having us. My name is Maria. I'm the executive director of Alternative House, and we have submitted our CDBG application for our youth teen expansion program. For those of you who don't know about Alternative House, we've been based in the city of Lowell since 1978. We provide services to all survivors of domestic violence, and we also provide services to folks who are affected by domestic violence, whether it be family, friends, coworkers, people that work at, law enforcement, social services agencies. So we're located in the greater Lowell area and we serve the surrounding towns, but we offer services to anyone who asks. We don't turn anyone away based on location or any demographic at all. Our youth teen program was founded in 1999 with the idea that there really needed to be a space for school age kids to get extra support with the transition of living in shelter or moving into transitional housing, which we have both of. And so the whole purpose of the program was to give them stability, to help them with homework, to really help them with the trauma that they had experienced and or witnessed, and also to give their guardian some time to work with case managers to do things that they needed to do without having their kids with them in the office. So in these years, many years since the program started, we've seen a huge need for continued services in this program. It was really established so that it was just 3 to 6 months while families were in shelter and then transitioning into more permanent and stable housing. But as we see families who are either staying longer and then also asking if their child can stay in our program once they have left shelter. And so we have in the past year been planning a move from our existing space, which is located in the living room of our transitional housing program. We've actually acquired close to 5,000 square feet in the building that houses our community-based programming, which will give us much more space and much more room to serve more kids and to have more staff and to provide more programming for kids who aren't school aged, such as toddlers and babies and things like that. We've seen, as I mentioned, a dramatic increase in the number of kids that we're serving. So while we historically have only offered this to children who are homeless in our residential programs, we have opened it up to some families who have moved out, depending on safety, transportation, things like that. But there is a huge number of requests that we're getting from these families. So we've from fiscal year 22 to 23, you can see that there was a huge increase in kids that we were serving. And year to date, we're already almost past that number from FY23 in this fiscal year. So just to give some statistics about this and why our program is so critical, we know that 90% of children are eyewitnesses to domestic violence. And we also know that from the age of when a child is in a womb, all through their developmental stages, domestic violence can impact them in many different ways. And one of the biggest impacts is on their developmental abilities. So we've formed this program around providing trauma-informed educational programming. All of our staff are trained domestic violence counselors, and they provide not just school help and tutoring and things like that, but also advocacy to make sure that these kids are getting what they need and addressing the domestic violence and the trauma that they've experienced. So what we're asking for this year is some funding to help with our expansion. So like I said, we're moving into our new space as of July 1st. We're going to kick off our new space with summer camp. We provide full-time summer and vacation camp in addition to after school programming during the year. So we are going to begin implementing 6 to 12-month follow-up and aftercare services to families who exit into permanent housing. So anyone that is Lowell-based, we will be inviting them to continue to stay into the program. We would like to increase one of our staff from part-time to full-time with benefits, and also increase our service hours so that we can provide toddler groups, book hour, things like that, and also a case management and family space for parents and their child for things like offsite counseling or meeting with their school department, things like that. And I just wanted to show some photos of our programs. We have acquired a lot of artwork, and it's always very positive and wonderful to see the things that the kids do. My favorite to brag about is the tree of greatness and the loving tree, which you can see right here. So really excited to be considered for this funding. We really appreciate the opportunity that the city has given us to present, and I'm happy to answer any questions. Our program director, Sarah Anderson, is also here on the call, and she's able to answer questions as well. Thank you.
Maria, quick question for you. I'm trying to figure out from a diversity standpoint, how do you guys handle, because I know one of the things that, especially if they're like, I don't know what the correct term is, but like LBGQ, how do you handle cases with the youth in that respect?
Sure. So Alternative House follows a survivor-centered and survivor-led model, and we're very we like to ensure that we're reflecting the population that we serve. So we actually do have 2 staff that are on our youth teen staff that identify as a member of the LGBT community. And so we feel that that's really important to have lived experience, and to be able to be someone that the kids can relate to. And we also have staff that speak Khmer and Spanish, because those are the biggest languages that we're seeing come in. All of our staff and our coordinators this year have gone through diversity certification as well, which includes working with children who are, LGBTQ, and we're all the youth teen staff also went through mental health first aid training for kids, which did touch upon things like that as well. So we also partner with a lot of agencies as well. So if we can't find a solution in the moment, we'll work with our partner agencies, but we really try and ensure that we're reflective of what we may be getting in to our program. So.
I have a question. Let's say you said you also work with women who are having domestic violence?
Yes. So our agency is for serving survivors of domestic violence. So we work with anyone that is experiencing or has experienced domestic violence.
And what kind of people do you cater to?
So anyone. So anyone that may have experienced domestic violence or is currently experiencing domestic violence. We don't turn people away if they're still in a violent relationship. So we work with adults, we work with kids, we have emergency shelter, we have community-based programming that provides support groups. It also provides court accompaniment. We have emergency safe housing. We do a lot of work with our police departments on-scene lethality assessment to make sure that we're getting folks help as soon as a 911 call is placed. We also have a 24-hour hotline that is staffed by certified domestic violence counselors. I'll put our website in the chat and also my email, and I'm happy to touch base at another time as well if you have more questions.
I only have one more before I leave.
Sure. I'm
Sorry.
sorry for interrupt that, but we will go with another presenter because that we stick with the time. So if you guys have any questions, so you can put it in the chat and then we can provide it all information that you need. So we will go. Let me ask, Mr. Wilson, are you all set with the computer stuff?
Yeah, I will try to share again.
Okay. Can you present now?
Yep, I'm trying to do it. Let's see if it allows me. Can I see my screen?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Their own transformative camp experience.
Yes, so much so that they started a free summer program for city kids. In tonight's Five for Good, we take you to the Lowell Youth Leadership Program. This is a camp that has it all. Swim lessons, swinging lessons, climbing, carpentry, robotics, and more. It's just fun.
Basketball, ball, volleyball. The counselors, they're very, very nice. They always have a smile on their faces.
It is also completely free with meals and transportation.
For 33 plus activities that the kids are going to expose to.
Andres Lopez is the program director at the Lowell Youth Leadership Program, LYLP. He explains kids here are also taught to reflect and communicate.
How do we increase team building, advocacy, public speaking?
The camp, hosted at Greater Lowell Technical High, is modeled after one Andres attended as a kid, along with LYLP founders Larry Wilson and Sam Hoare. Their friendship started with a diving mishap at age 11.
When he actually hit the water, he impacted and he bloodied his nose. And I was the only one who was part of the group that said, everybody was clapping. Yeah. Larry was the one who was like, hey, your nose is bleeding.
Summer camp was transformational for both Larry and Sam, whose parents, immigrants from Cambodia, couldn't afford extras.
The main thing is survival. So when I got to the camp, I was able to see, different type of breakfast, different types of lunch, different activities like golf, tennis, stuff that I would have never thought about doing because I lived in the projects like Larry did as well.
That camp ultimately lost funding. For years, both talked about starting a new program.
We always knew that the community needed something or some type of other program other than, the normal YMCAs and the Boys and Girls Clubs that was very progressive in learning, that were going to give inner city kids enrichment skills and core life skills.
Be the best version of yourself every day.
Campers know they're experiencing something special.
Being able to meet new friends, just doing different activities.
Without this opportunity,
I would, probably be at my house all day.
Negative behaviors occur, the kid's a boy.
LYLP appears to be a magnet for those who just want to do good.
You want to be my partner?
Pretty much everyone here volunteers.
I'm doing what they're doing.
Like Ken Hughes. He's a former Lowell golf champ.
I think golf's a great activity. A lot of discipline involves self-discipline, all the things that we stand for here.
Want a hamburger?
The meals, they're often donated by local businesses. On this day, the owner of Benny's Backyard Barbecue was treating.
For the kids, always for the kids.
Larry and Sam, they have regular day jobs. This is their passion. Meantime, they're just thankful for all the support.
And we're just, I would say we're grateful, right? Very, very grateful.
So this year, LYLP ran for 3.5 weeks. Tomorrow's the last day of the season. They served some 170 campers ages 10 to 14. The goal is to one day run for 6 weeks, serve up to 400 kids, and already there are opportunities for older teens to become paid counselors. And we have lots of information on WCVB.com.
So thank you for that. And thank you for allowing me to reshare that after we had the technical difficulties. So if you have any questions, I know we probably are at time. If I have the opportunity, I would love to answer any questions that anyone has. If not, then I can definitely leave my email and contact information along with my peers in the chat. If I can get back to the screen.
Well, thank you so much, Wilson. But I do have one question, which is that as the age, you guys that I just heard that you serve them from 10 to 14. Do you have any maybe any chance that you increasing the age maybe till 17?
Yeah, we actually serve kids 10 to 16. And then after our graduates who are our campus, once they graduate from our program, they actually come back and apply to be junior counselors. The whole idea of Lowell Youth Leadership Program is to continue to keep that umbrella where individuals like myself from NYSP, you join the program as a camper, and then you later become a junior counselor after you're at the age of like 17. And then after you get into college, you actually come back as a counselor. And then one day we hope that you come back and as an instructor when you become a specialist in your specialized field. And then maybe one day you even become the person like me, as, you know, serving on our board to give back to our program, or even, you know, the president, or, you know, the head of our treasury department. So we just want to keep that continuous umbrella to continue to build more community leaders and give these kids access to these resources.
Thank you so much, Wilson.
Yeah, no problem.
One question for me. Is there any plans to, I know you guys are restarting that up somewhat, but is there any plans for you guys to maybe expand it past the summer, or is it just going to be this summer for right now?
So as of right now, we're really focused on the summer. And that's due to, obviously, kids go to school during, you know, during the normal hours. And right now we're community-based and we're community funded. So right now the funding only allows us to, you know, expand the camp so far. We're also looking into making sure that the value of our camp stays the same, because we want to make sure that we're ensuring quality in our classrooms that we're teaching our kids. And we do understand that sometimes when you expand a little too fast or grow too fast, especially in the size of the classrooms, sometimes not all those kids can be reached. So the idea would be great to expand later on in the future. I know it's something that the board is discussing, but it's not something right now that we're kind of putting our pillars towards, if that answers your question. Okay, and thank you again. If there's any more questions, I'm going to leave my contact information along with my peers in the chat, and then feel free to email us. And thank you again for your time and allowing me to represent.
Thank you so much, Wilson. So we're going to go with Elliott Church.
Thank you so much. We're so excited to be here tonight. I'm going to just do a little screen share also. So I'm Heather Prince Doss. I'm the pastor at the Elliott Church, and I function as the executive director of the Elliott Day Center. And it's really great to hear about all of the other good work you guys are doing in the community. And we're so glad to be a part of this awesome community in Lowell that really works to serve our neighbors. The Elliott Day Center is a hub, a place for unhoused neighbors to access spiritual care, person-centered support. And by that, we mean that people really direct for themselves what their needs and their plan are. We have tangible resources for obtaining and maintaining safe and stable housing. We were founded, the Day Center, the church is really old, but the Day Center was founded in 2020 as a direct response to the pandemic. But in the past year, we've worked with our congregation and with some of you who are our partners to discern that there's an ongoing need for a daytime program for people experiencing homelessness in the city of Lowell and the surrounding communities. We're actually the only low barrier day center, one of 2 low barrier day centers in all of the Merrimack Valley. I think the other one is in Lawrence. We're located at 273 Summer Street, overlooking the South Common. If you don't know where that is, you might know that we're behind the Owl Diner. And we're in a neighborhood that has a really high incidence of homelessness and a high concentration also of homeless service providers. We're about 2 blocks away from the Lowell Transitional Living Center, just up the hill from the Salvation Army and the Life Connection Center, next door to the Sheriff's Department where the co-op team is housed. So we're really right in a spot that is easily accessible for folks who are experiencing homelessness. And our mission is to act as a hub where people can come in to get out of the weather during the day, to use a bathroom, to be treated with dignity, to get breakfast and lunch, and where other partners who provide more services than we do can come in and connect with our mutual clients to serve them in a location that is safe and accessible and friendly for the population that we serve. We're open 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, from 8 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. But we work in partnership with St. Paul's Kitchen. So they open in our same space at 2:30 so that folks can be inside the building from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And from the guest perspective, service is really uninterrupted. There's a staff change at 2:30, but the guests really, we work really hard to work with St. Paul's so that the guests don't experience any disruption. And we are open almost every day of the year. We observe maybe 6 holidays a year, so and the weekends. So we're really trying to be a reliable place for people to take shelter and get their needs met. One of the things we're really proud of is that we're a low barrier program, which means anyone who is unhoused or housing insecure can come in, including people who are actively using alcohol or other substances, as long as they are well enough to be ambulatory and to comply with posted and verbal instructions. And we do see a lot of people who suffer from substance use disorders or mental health disorders or both. And we really pride ourselves on making sure we treat everyone with dignity and we provide opportunities for them to have their most basic needs met. And when they're ready, to seek support in moving on to whatever their goal is, whether that's recovery or housing, employment, and we try to support them in that process. On an average day, we see about 120 unique people. That's up significantly from how many people we were seeing 1 year or 2 years ago. We used to see at the beginning of the pandemic, maybe 60 people a day. Many of these people, I'd say at least half of the people we see every day are native to Lowell. They grew up in Lowell or Dracut or Chelmsford. And then we also see people who come from surrounding communities and are passing through. They may not stay as long, but we have a really core group of people who have either on again, off again, or a long time experience of homelessness. They may qualify for the definition of being chronically homeless by the federal definition. And then others in the Lowell area, and then others who might come from other areas and pass through. We're a pretty small team. That's us down there on the bottom. And we have 6 staff members and then a handful of dedicated volunteers who give so generously of their time and their love to care for the people who come through our doors. Across a whole year, we might see about 300 unique people. And what those numbers together tell me is we're really seeing people consistently. If we see 120 people a day and only 250 to 300 a year, that means we have a chance to really build relationships with people, to outreach them, encourage them to take whatever steps they need to take to be a little bit more stable and secure in and have well-being for themselves. Some of the services that we offer, we serve breakfast and lunch from 8 a.m. to noon. We used to serve meals a little bit later, but we work in partnership with Life Connection Center, and they have a lunchtime service. So we decided with them that it would work well for us to stop our lunch service at noon and folks could get lunch just at the bottom of the hill. Our restroom is open all day. We provide clothing and hygiene items on request. When we have a lot of something, we just give it out pretty freely. One of the things our clients often need is a safe place to receive mail. If they're staying in the shelter or they're staying on the street, they may not have a good mailing address. So we act as a place where people can receive mail services. We have phone charging stations and we have free Wi-Fi that people can use. Sometimes that's just for entertainment, but a lot of times it's to meet with service providers, to be able to check their email, to do the things they need to do to stabilize their lives. And another thing, and I put it on here because I think it's important, we do allow people to sleep in our day center. And that seems maybe not worth mentioning, but some day centers don't allow people to sleep. And I think for a lot of our clients, they don't get good sleep at night. I talk to people who, when I ask them on their intake, where did you sleep last night? They tell me, I didn't. I walked around all night, because they don't feel safe to sleep. So we do allow people to either lay their head on the table, or we have a few spots where people can lay down to sleep. And again, we feel like that contributes to their overall well-being and their sense of dignity. We also have some services that are offered less often than daily that we do in partnership with other community partners. We have a nurse and harm reduction specialist who comes weekly from Lowell House, Partners in Prevention from the Community Health Center. We do a chapel service, a poetry workshop. Elliott Community Human Services is here once a week to do mental health and housing work. And we're looking for some new partnerships with Casa Esperanza and Lowell House and CTI in the coming months. We have a case manager on site who helps connect clients with those partners and with the services we provide, including obtaining the documents they need to get an ID. And we're able to pay for those, which we're really grateful for. And I think that, that concludes my presentation. The CDBG money will help us provide for our staffing needs to keep the day center opening and functioning for our clients. And we are very grateful for the opportunity to apply. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Heather. Elliot, do you have any question?
Yeah, I guess one question regarding the substance abuse and mental health. Because I was looking at some data that says those are the two biggest factors for a person to be homeless. Do you guys refer them to services, or do you have any on-site services for those two, I guess, health conditions?
Sure. We don't have a clinician on our team, but because we think of ourselves as a community hub, we really work to connect with our partners in the community who do have clinicians and direct services. So we have a caseworker from Elliott Community Human Services who specializes in mental health and housing, and he's on site 1 to 2 days a week. We have a harm reduction specialist from Lowell House that is on site once a week. And then we have referral